in 1e. It's an example of where we can factor out a greatest common factor. That should be our first check every time. So we can take out a 5 out of each of these numbers. So 5 factored out will give us a 2x squared minus 11x plus 12. Okay, so this is a trinomial, and then trinomials, if factorable, factor into two binomials. When we have this leading coefficient of something other than 1, we've been taking that 2 times a 12, so we come over to the side and we do a little strategizing over here. 2 times 12 is 24, so we need to figure out what are two numbers that we can multiply together to get 24, yet add up to get 11. So we always take the a times the c, so here's our a times c. Here's the number that we want to find factors of that will add up to negative 11. So the numbers that come to my mind, if I take a negative 3 times a negative 8, we end up getting a positive 24 like we have here. But if we were to add these, we get our negative 11. So that's kind of where we did our side note thinking. What we want to be able to do then is convert that negative 11 into the two numbers that we have on the board. So 2x squared, we're going to convert this negative 11x into the two factors that we said we're going to use, which will be a minus 3x and a minus 8x, then plus 12. And then we want to do this by grouping. So what I want to be able to do is group the first two, and I want to group the last two. When I start looking at grouping that last two, we got that negative sign there, so I want to just put plus in front of that, so we can always have an addition sign between our grouping symbols. So rather than subtracting 8x, we're going to add its opposite. So now that addition sign got really messy, so I'll try to clean that up. So right in here, it was a negative 8x, so I want to add its opposite. Okay, so to try to clarify all this grouping symbols, instead of this outside parentheses, I'm going to use brackets. So it's 5 times. I can factor out an x out of the first grouping, so that's an x, and we're going to be left with 2x minus 3. We hope to find that 2x minus 3 in my next set of factors, so I got to factor the negative 8x plus 12. I want to end up with a positive 2, so that means I want to factor out a negative, so I get a positive number for my first one. And we're going to factor out the greatest common factor between 8 and 12 is 4. So if I factor out a 4, we'll have a positive 2x minus 3. Square bracket. And this is where I said we should be getting the same thing when we factor by grouping. That's a good sign when we do this that we've done it correctly. So now what we want to be able to do is factor out our common factor out of these two. So it's going to be 5 times. We factor out our 2x minus 3. And then what's left is our second factor, which is x minus 4. So this is the complete factorization of 1e.